You know, in the world of Washington, D.C. lobbying, sometimes a single personnel change can signal a massive shift in strategy for an entire industry. And, well, a real powerhouse in the real estate world just made a very interesting move, and we're going to unpack exactly what it means.
So let's start with a big question. When you think about the laws that govern buying a home or getting a mortgage, who do you think is really writing the rules? It's this complex dance, right, between lawmakers and industry experts. And a brand new appointment might just give us a huge clue about the next few steps in that dance.
So what's the big headline? What's the news that kicked off this whole analysis?
Here it is. The Mortgage Bankers Association, you'll hear them called the MBA, has just brought on a new Vice President of Legislative Affairs. Now, I know, on the surface, that might sound like just another boring staff announcement from D.C. But trust me, when you look a little closer, you see this as a deliberate, really calculated play.
And just so we're all on the same page, the NBA isn't just some random organization. They are a massive trade association. They represent the entire real estate finance industry. Think of them as the main voice for pretty much every mortgage lender in Washington. So yeah, who they pick to do their talking, that's a very big deal.
Which brings us to the man at the center of this whole thing. So, who is Jeremy Green?
Well, Jeremy Green is what you'd call a seasoned D.C. veteran. He's coming over from McGuire Woods Consulting, a huge government affairs firm where he was a vice president. And before that, he had some really key roles at another industry titan, the National Association of Realtors, working on national advocacy, helping to shape federal housing policy. Bottom line, he knows this world inside and out.
And you can tell this career path was no accident. It was built on a solid foundation, a degree in American government and politics from Syracuse. So this wasn't just about learning a trade, it was about understanding the very machinery he was planning to one day influence.
Okay, so we've got his resume, we know his background, but what exactly is his new mission for the Mortgage Bankers Association?
Now, this is where it gets really, really interesting. The sheer precision of his mandate. His job isn't just to go lobby Congress. No. His role is to advocate for the MBA's priorities with a primary focus on Democratic lawmakers, and specifically to target the U.S. Senate. That is not a shotgun approach. It is a laser-focused operation. You just don't make a hire this specific unless you have a very clear legislative battlefield in mind.
So this brings us to the most crucial part of this whole story. Why this guy, and why now? What makes Jeremy Green the perfect puzzle piece for this very specific mission?
I mean, think about it. D.C. is absolutely full of policy experts and lobbyists. So why zero in on Jeremy Green? The answer, it turns out, reveals everything about the MBA's current game plan.
Hey, you don't have to take my word for it. Let's just look at what his new boss, Bill Kilmer, the MBA's chief lobbyist, had to say. He doesn't just praise Green, he specifically points out his proven track record, his thoughtful, strategic approach, and his absolute confidence that Green will produce positive legislative outcomes. I mean, that is a powerful endorsement that speaks volumes about why he was hired.
And when you lay it all out, the logic just connects perfectly. His time at the National Association of Realtors, that gives him deep expertise on the actual subject. His work at McGuire Woods, that proves he can get things done in the federal lobbying world. And his degree from Syracuse provides that foundational understanding of the whole system. Every single piece of his resume fits this mission like a glove.
So, what's the big takeaway here? It's simple. This wasn't just about filling a vacancy. The MBA has identified a very specific target, advancing their agenda with Democrats in the Senate, and they've brought in a specialist, a surgeon, to execute that precise mission.
And that leaves us with the big million-dollar question to think about, right? With a skilled, focused operator like Jeremy Green, now tasked with influencing housing policy from this very specific angle, what kind of legislative outcomes might we see down the road? How will this one hire by one powerful trade group ultimately shape the future of housing in America? That's something we're all going to be watching very, very closely.